And ladies and gentlemen, I am joined with a ring announcer all the way from Mississippi. Goes by the name of Phillip. He's joining me right now. What's going on, Phillip?
Hey Kenny, how's it going?
I'm doing real good, man. And can you hear me okay?
Uh, yes, sir. Hear you real quick.
All right. So far, good start. unlike a couple of weeks ago, but thank you so much for the for giving us another shot. And you are the first ring announcer ever to be interviewed on the show, and I'm looking forward to this. So let's just consider this a we do, and go ahead and get started. Um, what made you decide to be a ring announcer?
Well, first when I was going around Mississippi Indy, um, started when I was dating someone. I went with her to promotions around here, and eventually I was starting to train for referee matters because I thought I could do it, but eventually I found out I couldn't. And then at the same time, I was taping the show and started making it like my own talk shows, and then eventually. Um, guy by the name of Robert Wadsworth, a promoter of Pro Wrestling Ego, but he goes by a wrestler named Jay Andrews, contacted me about a show they're having in Raleigh, and asked me to come out and support, and I did. And then I asked him, just out of curiosity, if there's anything I can do, like for ring announcer or something like that. And he, eventually I got set up. Started May 26th, and since then, fell in love with it, and here I am.
Do you remember the first show you ever had? You know, being a ring announcer, and if so, how did you feel about it? Were you nervous? And how much did you learn from your first time around?
Oh, yeah, I was definitely nervous, to say the least. Before the show, I know I was feeling like, oh, boy, I hope I don't make a fool of myself. And I'll be honest, I got out there, I was sweating my suit and all that. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't where you can notice, but I was pretty nervous. But when I got out there, it kind of, how I put it, just it kind of came to me. And since then, it's been like, each time I get in there, I learn something else. But now, that's not to say I haven't had some botches here and there, but every time I get in there, I learn something about energizing the crowd, et cetera, et cetera. Typical ring announcing things.
When it comes to the ring announcer, well, obviously, you know, for what people told me, it definitely takes a lot of courage to be there and be there in public, and you know, just introduce the wrestlers as they make their way to the ring. Obviously, you gotta have the energy, you gotta have passion, and I do have a question in the room from a female by the name of Scholar, and she wants to know how do you feel about the support you have gained since becoming a ring announcer? That's a question in the chat room from Scholar.
How I feel about the support. Um, it is quite, it's amazing how much people have supported me through this whole, since I've started, because I've kind of found out who my true friends and true family have been since I've done it, and they've been there since day one, supporting me through thick and thin, and without them, good Lord, I don't know if I would continue without all the support with all the family and friends. Plus, not to mention the passion I have for wrestling itself, but they play a big role into it as well. So,
For those of you tuning in, you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio right here on itmiradio.com. I am joined with ring announcer Phillip Searcy all the way from Mississippi. Why don't you go ahead and promote the shows that you are a part of?
All right. November 24th, Pro Wrestling EO presents the 7-8 tournament. We will have 8 men from the South fighting to be called the best in the South. 8 men representing will be Kyle Matthews, Christian Haynes, Bolt Brady, Mike Posey, Lucas Frost, Lane Rage, Wardell Walker, and Purple Hayes. They'll be battling to see who could be named the best in the South. And in that same night, you'll have a 10-man tag elimination match between the Awesome Alliance, led by Jeremy Awesome, and the Evolution of Evil versus the Evolution of Evil. That's Battle of the Boys, Jay Andrews and John Evans. And another show, December 8th, with Wrestling All-Star Revolution. I'll be in Clinton, Mississippi with that. So far, that's the shows that I know of that I'll be working as of right now.
I believe I interviewed Kyle Matthews just last week on the show. He's a very cool dude, and he'll be a part of that tournament. Everybody check that out. Now, let me ask you this from a fan standpoint. Obviously, you got the WWEs, you got the TNA, and you got Ring of Honor. What's your take on those companies and what the direction that all 3 of those companies are going?
WWE, I'll say to them, I've loved them for years, but let's just face it, we can all pretty much say that they've gotten worse. But the thing is, they're in the big leagues, and I'm not, so I can't say too much. But what I don't like about it is Impact. Well, TNA has issues with this too, but it's not as bad. But WWE will sit there on the mic for 30 minutes and talk and do promos. And me personally, I don't like the whole 30-minute deal. I just, at the most 10 minutes, I really don't like it that long either. But I'm more just wrestling straight up, pure wrestling throughout the whole show, just about it. Yeah, it's good to have promos, don't get me wrong. They're a big key in the matches, but don't drag it out and bore people. And WWE, too, I think has really made a big, big mistake when they went 3 hours, because they're competing with Monday Night Football, and some people's attention span is not going to last 3 hours into the show, and they're going to get really, really bored with that. Now, Impact Wrestling, to me, they improved. Other people will say otherwise, but it's better wrestling now, and it's not as much talking. Because for a while, when Hogan and Bischoff had a big influence, they probably still do, but when they first came in there, it seemed like they wanted to copy WWE and everything they did. And now they calm down and trying to be their own style, so to speak. Now, Ring of Honor, I've always loved because they're straight up wrestling, like, kind of I like with Harley, not 30-minute long promos, maybe 10 minutes at the most, but I'd say Ring of Honor, I think, would be the one I like the best out of all 3 of myself. That's just me.
You know, now that I think about it, you know, I guess that could explain why WWE and their ratings for the 3-hour show has kind of been like a roller coaster of sorts. For Impact, I guess what is 2 things to me is lacking. Well, the main thing to me is lacking is their X division, which I thought was the heart and soul of their organization, and it just seems like they rely too much on the former WWE guys, and let alone the guys that been a part of this company since day one. And as for Ring
Like,
of Honor, you know, they like the underdog of the of the big three shows, and
mm,
that they are obviously wrestling first, and their matches they always give you 4 or 5 star matches, and they're gonna bring in all they got. So um, it just seems like with WWE, yeah, I definitely agree. It seems like too much talking, and now, you know, if you're gonna compete with Monday Night Football or any other big caliber Monday Night show, you better live up to your product. Be a wrestling show. More wrestling, less talk, I guess.
absolutely.
So, um, let me ask you this: you being a ring announcer, what do you think it takes to be a Ring of Honor? Not a Ring of Honor, but a ring announcer, I should be saying. Is it more like having the voice? Is it like the passion? Is it the knowledge? What do you think it takes to be a ring announcer?
Well, it takes all those things you named, but okay, I'll break it down a little bit. Of course, you gotta have the voice first of all, because who's gonna pay attention to you when you're gonna go like this man weighs at 242 pounds, da 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 da. And to me, if you are in the business at all, don't matter what you are, wrestler, referee, ring announcer, valet, manager, uh, ring crew, it doesn't matter. You've got to have passion, period. If you don't, in my opinion, you need to get out. Um, and if you don't show it, then not many people it's going to be not that believable. And knowledge, uh, yeah, it would be good to have that too, because the fans look at you and they see that you don't really know much, then they're going to think, I don't know if I should listen to this guy or not. And I've had my share of mess ups, a couple of them maybe. But thing is, what you want to do as a ring announcer, what you want to try to do, is get the wrestlers over here. As you speak, if you can do that, in my book, you are amazing as a ring announcer. And you also, during the show, you want to bring the crowd into it and make them feel like they're part of the show itself as well. It's just my opinion.
Wrestling, like a lot of shows, like other forms of sports and entertainment, there's always going to be the quote unquote hecklers. There's always going to be people that's going to try to keep you off guard or get you off guard when you know focusing on what you're trying to do. Um, have you ever had to deal with hecklers when you're doing your ring announcing?
Uh, Let me see. As far as I know, I might have some issues like with people not having their music and all that wise. Um, and I'll have to go back there sometimes and try to make sure they have it and give it to me so I can get to the music guy. But mainly that's the main thing that I've had problem wise. But other than that, the guys I work with, they are absolutely cool guys, and I would recommend anybody to work with in a locker room, to say the least. So,
Another question from a fan standpoint: um, what do you consider the best match you have ever seen, as it pertains to just watching from a distance, being because obviously after the ring announcer, you do your job, you get off the ring, and you watch the action. What do you consider the best match that you have ever seen?
oh Lord, I've seen quite a few great ones, to say the least. But I'll name a few just to be quick and to the point. Um, my first show I ever done, the main event was Jeremy Austin and Wardell Walker. And I gotta say that right there, I was like, holy crap, that was good. And I saw another one between Nathan Lawler and Jeremy Austin and Hoka a few weeks back, and those two blew the roof off that night. And they've been doing it all over the place too, same feud and all of that. And Barry Wolf and Charles West, not too long ago, they amazed me in the match they had. All these matches right here in particular, I love to death. And I know another one that I like watching in particular, because I've been watching it for a little bit since I've known about indie wrestling around here. Black Brothers, Chris Black versus Eric Black. Those two, they always have a really, really, really good match, and their feud is always great. Those are just a few right there that I thought were great, top of my head. So.
And I got an interesting comment and a question from Scholar in the chat room. She goes on to say, and I quote, "In the indie circuit, we tend to see people take ideas from WWE and other professional businesses. As a ring announcer and being more involved, has this given you a different point of view? And if so, how has being a ring announcer helped you see the business in a more personal way?"
Well, first of all, when you're in the business, it's a lot different than being a fan from the standpoint, because as a fan, you think you will know stuff because you read dirt sheets and all that, and you think you know about all the stuff behind the scenes and da-da-da and how they do it. And when you get in the business, sales business, it's a wrestler, referee, ring announcer, manager, it doesn't matter. You see a whole different side of things that that you wouldn't see as a fan. And when you're in this business, it makes you a little, well, it should make you smart. Some people, I can't say the same thing. But once you're in this business, you learn about all the basic stuff in the wrestling shows and all that stuff. Like, you learn how they make heat, how they make pops, and all this information that you in a typical wrestling show. So.
And my last question for you is, what would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to be in the wrestling business, or in your case, being a ring announcer? What would your advice be?
Well, for ring announcing wise, I have to say, just first of all, have the passion for it, and if you don't have the passion for it, don't even fool with it, because we've had too many people come in here just for everybody to see them in front of the crowd, and not necessarily like the business itself. And now and get a good voice for it. Don't, if you come out there and start ringing out, and don't just go like this and have a mono-type voice when you're talking. Bring some energy into it, and don't just half-butt do it. And now, if you want to do something else like wrestling, referee, ballet, please, I bet you, keep your butt in the gym, start training, do all of that, because you have too many people these days that come in here like, just really, really out of shape, and they're not that good of a wrestler, to say the least. I mean, you have some that are big that can go, but you got some that are just, makes you just want to cringe when you look at them. So, but the main thing for both of them, you got to have passion, period. That's the number one thing.
Well, I will say this. It's great talking to you, first and foremost. And number two, it's great talking to you with no technical difficulties. Thank you so much, Phillip, for your time. Thank you for the knowledge, and thank you for the talk. Best of success goes out to you, and everybody. Be on the lookout for the King of the South show. He check out his Facebook for more info as under Phillip Searcy, and he'll keep you posting on that. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your time, and you got any final words?
Again, November 21st, Southern 8 Tournament, Raleigh, Mississippi. Be there, folks. You know you want to.
What he said. Thank you for your time, man. You have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I was Phillip.